For the first time since 1991, the Falcons will be missing out on the FIFA Women's World Cup. We already know the problem that has been there in recent years, and we feel it's more of a system failure than the players even failing us. We saw their game yesterday, and we saw how they approached the game. There was something that was really missing in the setup when you watch, if you follow the game very well. And as Nigerians, we could not really do anything rather than just to be disappointed with the outcome of the game and how the match was played. I want us to deliberate on what really went wrong yesterday when watching the game. Let's talk and share our opinions about the game yesterday.
For me, from a tactical point of view, there were, from the beginning of this tournament, we have been calling out the sort of ignorance from the setup that we see the coach implement with this set of players. And in moments where we were able to somehow ground out results, it was the girls carrying themselves. So from a tactical point of view, we were not impressed. There were a lot of problems, a lot of us bringing ourselves down by ourselves. So, like you said, this is deeper than just the coach's problem. It's deeper than just the players' problem.
So it's more like the system failing us.
Yeah, it goes deeper than what we see on the field.
Yeah, really goes deeper.
Just to add words to what Silas said, if you remember very well in this show, when we started the previewing of the WAFCON, just on their first match, we talked about Nigerians. Like for me, I had to take. I said Nigerians should not expect much from this. And the ultimate goal is to actually qualify
for the World
Cup. Which, like I said, I had my doubts. Now, when you look at the whole scenario from the first match to this very level that we are right now, you get to discover, like you've said, that the girls have been carrying themselves, and we all have agreed there that they've been carrying themselves. In fact, not just in this particular World Cup, they've always, AFCON, they've always shown, when other aspects of or other cadres of our football have not been there. But we cannot continue this way. I think it's high time Nigerian stakeholders, because on the media space now, there are interests. There are a lot of voices out there on the media space who are calling for the beatification of Nigerian football, for Nigerian football to have this improvement. But if you start investigating, a lot of them out there don't really care about Nigerian football. It's because they are not part of the setup. So because we don't have voices that are going in one direction, we don't have protests that are going in one direction. So this same cycle might continue for years. Like people will just come out and be making this like the normal, our presidency, our gubernatorial, and our senators, our politicians in general, right? Most people who call them out, some politicians don't really call them because they want to go there and make a change. They just want the government to change and all that. So if Nigerians want a change in our sport industry, I think all ships must sail in one direction. So me, I'm agreeing that it's a system failure, and I believe that's something that we should really talk about more today.
So Silas, take us through the journey of how the game was played yesterday.
South Africa began the match with a build-up shape of 4-1-2-3 against Nigeria's 4-2-3-1. We were very passive with our pressing, very, very passive. So it gave the South Africans more time on the ball, even in our own half. And what they did with the ball was launch the ball into our defensive third and win and fight for those second balls, which they were very successful with. And we considered very cheap fouls from those plays. Nigeria went with the ball build-up shape 4-1-2-3 against South Africa's 4-2-3-1. The difference was that they were not passive with their press; they were very proactive with their press. This means that we had to go long as soon as possible and concede possession yet again in our own defensive third. At times, at phases of the game where our girls were able to press high, you could see us winning possession and then recycling the ball. This gave us a better chance to build up. I appreciate Michelle Aluzi, our left back in the match, who is originally our right back, for taking, she inverted into the midfield to give us options to build up from the back. But for some reason, best known to the players, they bypassed her. Most times that she inverted into the midfield and created a passing option in that midfield for us to progress the ball, the pass never came through. Again, throughout the match, we were very passive with our press. South Africa, naturally, against this kind of setup, they will naturally build their confidence on the ball. In moments where we were able to have the ball, we couldn't make clean, good decisions. We were just lounging the ball, playing the ball into the opponent's, South Africa's 18-yard box, and we were not good with second ball, so we were really just giving them the ball for them to attack us back. You can see again on your screen, this is where we actually put a more front-footed press, and we forced them to make a mistake, and then we won the ball higher up the pitch, and they considered a foul, and then we got a free kick there. This is just one of the examples of when we decide to be more front-footed with the presence of being so very passive and winning the ball higher up the pitch. In transition moments when we decided to counter-attack this team, we were too focused on playing the ball into space in behind the defense instead of attacking the space right in front of us, that is in front of the defense. In the final third, issues came up like in the last match where our girls were unable to find the final pass into that will hurt our opponents, and in this case, the South African defense. Many a times, the number 9 will make a run behind, and the pass never came through, and we were too reliant on long balls into the 18-yard box. We could have passing options into wider areas where we could, play the ball more, open the defense up more, and combination play and all that. But that didn't happen. And you can see we conceded all because we were too, so reliant, very quick to get the ball up front. We considered a counter attack, which led to the South Africans' first goal. In this first goal again, we have to call out the defense. This is very shambolic defending. The left back loses her man. Our center back is unable to close down the person running with the ball. Again, the issues up front in our own in the opposition's defensive third came up. We were still unable to find the final pass, and instead we're too reliant on these long balls. This is not Zambia. This is not Egypt. This is South Africa, for crying out loud. We cannot rely on just that to break the defense. Until they scored the second goal, there was really nothing that the girls did or improvised on to make life easy for them, or even a different coaching setup from Madugu. Nothing changed. It was just let's try harder, not let's try smarter. So this rounds up the analysis for the South Africa versus Nigeria. Congratulations, South Africa. They did well. They played really well. Nigeria, we have our issues.
It was a game that we saw more tactical brilliance from the South African team, and going with what we saw yesterday from our own approach from the manager's aspect now. Don't you think it's something that, yes, we know you have your game plan, but if it's not working, there should be improvisation in the game. Don't you think the coach needed to do more as regards to tactics for us to get those early goals when we were struggling in the game yesterday?
So there's something in international football. It's an unwritten principle or rule. They have one of the hardest jobs, that's international coaches.
Yeah.
And they also have one of their job could be said to be simple. It's a two-way thing. It could be hard, it could be simple. Now it's going to be hard for you if you come from a country, if you're coaching a countryside that does not have elite players like playing in top divisions, right? It's going to be hard for you, and it's going to be simple for you if you have those kind of players in the team. Then the other byproduct or by issue of the main issue of having elite players or not having them is actually this one. Whether you have good players or you have got average players, you begin to struggle with time because they don't have time like normal club coaches, right? So what smart coaches do is when you have a pool of players and there are these top class players that you have and you have average players, but you have more of top class, it saves you that headache of selection.
Yeah.
What you do is you just bring those players who play in top European teams because they might play in different teams, they might play in different systems, but the training methodology is kind of the same.
Yeah.
They have that feel, you understand? We could use the Nigerian, the Super Eagles, for instance, for you. There was a time Boniface was playing in an Alonso system. There was time Ademola Lukman was playing in Atlanta. Yeah. And we have an Stevie and all that. But whenever these guys come together, you see how Puzero himself and President Enrique will always start these players.
Yeah.
Not just because of their profile. What gives them their profile is the structure in which they operate in now. So what's my point now? Let me take home this point. You've got good players who play in the United States.
Yes.
If you want to bring, if you want to start profiling all the players, the Super Falcons where they play, at the top, you bring those ladies that play in the United States. Why not front them? With due respect to home base or people who play in leagues that we need to Google, or Google rather, these persons have played in the system. You have an Esther, you have a Payne, you have a Cesar, the marshal herself. You got these persons and you just put one of them in the match. Like, do you understand? Just pick one of them and put. And these are persons who know how to use half spaces. Just like Silas was during his tactical analysis, he was talking about, I would say, inverting.
Yeah.
And when you look at the circumstance of the match, you just know that she did that naturally without the coach telling her to do it, right? That's what you get when you field in players like that. You play at that level. But this man kept benching them. So it's just like you go to the newspaper, there's something he does. I think Michel does a little too. But Nigerians, we are carried away too by Michel. But let me not go there. Just complain about one particular player, right? They take you off the team.
Yes.
It's like they make their lineup from what they see on social media. Just score a goal in the last match, you start the next match.
Yes.
Just give an assist. So I don't know, like you need to stick with your plan. You need to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. But on top of whatever plan he has been making, we needed our players who play in very good leagues to actually start our matches for us. Whenever he brought out the yesterday match, you're bringing out a particular player and you're fielding in someone who also is struggling and all that. Like, the changes don't make sense. And I also want to correct an impression. Some persons say he has been shouting on the touchline, he screams at the ladies. And do you know, for some time now, I've been trying to be defensive, to defend him, to say that coaches will always want to remind players of staying in that structure. But then something happened yesterday. I think it was Alusi. She tried contesting for an aerial ball and she didn't get it, like she should. And he just jumped on the touchline, those are not things if you're shouting, you're reminding players to actually keep their defensive and attacking principles. You need to go wide, you need to do this, you need to that's when you know what you're telling them.
True.
Not actually shouting on
Because
them,
berating them.
what you did not tell them, for them being creative and all that. So I've been my own rant now is just going down to the fact that we had those players that would have taken us to the semi-finals, to the finals of WAFCON, and we have the players that would have won the matches for us. I don't know what's wrong with the man. Like, you might be a coach, you might not know tacticals. If you don't know tacticals, try and be smart in your selection. Just bring him from the pool of those players that play in those top leagues.
Yeah, bring them
They could play around themselves. They could make magic happen for you, and you take the glory. Make them do the work for you. You take the glory. You can't do the work for them, and you can't even feel the people that will do the work for you.